Hey, it's Taco here again. Come fly with me on a recent flight with Jake and Travis, I think, was there too. Nice, steady wind made inflation and takeoff really easy. I probably could have done a reverse this time. I have to practice hooking in reverse. I haven't done that in a while. So this is an edited flight. I've cut out, as you can see, a lot of stuff. I try to make it as short as reasonably possible at 24 minutes. Really bumpy today, but kind of a steady bump, not like gusty, just my main goal was to just get up and fly around a little bit, have fun, get up. I was aiming for like 6,000 feet, and it started getting cold, or it started getting bumpier. I can't remember. Nice sunset flight, or evening. I don't think I made it to sunset. I think I landed before official sunset. Nice bright sunspot there in the background, right in the middle of the video. I got a couple of comments online about those gloves that I'm wearing. Somebody was making fun of them, like, "Oh, okay, that's great. Everything's warm but your fingers." They're actually, I think they're hunting gloves. I got them a couple of years ago for hiking and backpacking, where I would need to have warm hands, but then it's kind of hard to tie knots in your camping gear. I use a hammock, so it's kind of hard to tie knots in my camping gear and put everything up with my fingers covered. You need that manual dexterity, so I got those gloves, and they have like a mitten cover that goes over your exposed fingers. And I found that mitten gloves actually work better than like regular fingered gloves. That no matter what I would do, my fingers would get cold. So right now I've got my fingers exposed because I'm not cold yet. Still a little bit warm low down, but I intended to change that by going high. Just a nice relaxing flight. And you can see it's a little bit shaky the whole time, but not terrible. It gives you a good idea, like a continual oscillation back and forth. Colors on the magic just brilliant. So I haven't ventured out farther from the lake in a while. So next flight, I intend to go out a little bit farther. You see all that mess on my stomach or on my torso? The phone case, the radio case, it's all hanging off my torso strap. And it's just kind of, it's okay in flight, but it kind of makes it tough for me to get in the thing. All that stuff wants to tangle up. So I got a chest rig from Trevor Steele. It's a Uinda chest pack. Like a fanny pack, but it goes on your chest instead of around your waist. Looking forward to using that next time. That's a view through the trim strap. Apparently, at some point I bumped the Insta360 camera, and it's farther back than it normally is. I didn't pay attention to it for a while. You get a good view through that trim strap, and then almost straight overhead looking at the glider. And again, you can see the oscillations back and forth. I'm not sure how high I am at this point. Probably around 3,000. I need to get back to putting my telemetry on the Insta360. I also have a GoPro that's going to go on the front of my chest rig, so when I'm flying along, the GoPro has really good telemetry. See, I've activated my mitten covers on my right hand. Unfortunately, the cover in my left hand is strapped underneath the throttle strap. And at one point I was like, oh, I could take the strap off, maneuver that mitten cover underneath it, and then put it back. There you go. I'm thinking about it, and like, nope. I love the angle on the swing arms where I'm resting my hand. I think it wasn't intentional, I'm sure, but the Iris Infinity with those carbon fiber arms has a really great place to rest your hands while you're in flight. See, the Earth is round. There we go, 4,500. I don't think I show you all the phone when I hit 5,000 feet, but I do look at it. So I make 5,000 feet, and at that point I decide to start coming down. Above 3,000, it was like suddenly cold. So, it's warm, and then poof, it got cold quick. And so I'm up here, and at one point you'll see me stick my hands inside my jacket there. I fixed my PPG Smoke Diddy oil pump today. Today's the 14th. And so I took my smoke oil pump. I cut the straps off with the buckles, and I left a couple inches of straps on it. And I sewed some Velcro, some long Velcro, that two-sided stuff that will attach to itself to the remaining straps. And then I could strap it around the frame and back to itself, and it doesn't flop around at all now. It's almost as if it's one piece with the frame. So I've come off the throttle a little. I'm starting to come back down. And it's still going. You can see that's a really great view of my left swing arm with the RPM gauge on it. So I'm still going at 5,200 RPM. And I realized after traversing the length of the airfield again, I've only come down about 300 feet. I was really trying to make it home before sunset had been too far gone, so I could help put the chickens up. Gotten to the point where I feel comfortable shutting the motor off at height or at altitude, mainly because I'm scared I won't be able to get it restarted. I would like to be able to shut the motor off, come down to about 2,000 feet and then start it back up again, but I'm scared it won't restart. Then I got to make sure I can spot land with an engine out, which I'm not the greatest at actually hitting the spot I want to hit. So I got to practice that some more. Got to turn around before I get over town. I know it looks like I'm over that congested area, but the Insta's looking forward, of course. I'm not directly over the houses. I'm actually flying over a little bit of woods. So I'm going to hit that big field. And I'm going to cut back around. Go the other way. Not sure if you'll be able to hear me say it here in a minute, but I'm at about 3,000 feet, and when I pass over the field, I can see my windsock. And the wind is still coming from out of the north. Or excuse me, out of the south. You see how slow I'm going. So the interesting thing is, the wind is still out of the south right now, which is the direction I'm going. And I'll fly over, and I can see my windsock. You can even see it glittering just a little bit in the video right now. So I fly over, I see my windsock. Okay, wind's coming out of the north. Takes me another few minutes to get down. By the time I do, though, the wind shifts, and I'm lined up to land heading south. And then my friends on the ground are like, "Hey, the wind shifted. It's coming out of the north." That totally messes me up because I'm planning on a landing from the north, and they're in the middle of the field, so it gets confusing real quick. So you can see Jake and Travis, they've already landed, and they're getting ready to go back up and play a little bit. I think Jake's getting his streamer out. Somebody started talking to me at one point, and I realized it was Jake, but he's going to try to help me with my landings. Somebody asked me the other day about the wing. How do you go faster or slower? Well, you really don't with the paramotor wing. If you come off the gas, then let's say you're trimmed for 20 miles an hour to make the math easy, and you come off the gas. Well, the paramotor's going to start to lose altitude. It's still going to try to go 20 miles an hour, and the way it does that is to start descending. So you're trading altitude to maintain that airspeed. Same thing if you give it gas. You're not really flying any faster, but you're going up. So you're forcing it to go up.
Very well with his designs, but his hand is right on him. Doing a weight shift turn. No hands on the toggle.
I think this is after my aborted landing to the south when I figured out the winds were coming from behind me. Let's see if we can see it on the windsock on my car. I don't know if the video is high enough resolution to see. Nope, I don't think so. So anytime you're playing around an airport, even if you have comms, you got to keep your eyes out. Somebody could come in without a radio, and if they come in without a radio and you're not looking, general aviation has the right of way over us, so we have to get out of their way. Plus, general aviation planes are all bigger, heavier, and stronger than we are sitting in our floating lawn chairs. So in a confrontation with an airplane coming in for a landing, we will always lose no matter what. And what I should have done at this point is just landed long. Because I'm a little high, so I decide to kind of do a little 360 here. I could have landed on the left side of Jake and Travis, but I elect not to. So I carry a little bit of power, and I should have shut off my motor right about here. But I'm worried I'm going to be too close to them, and I at least want to get past them. Not a great landing, and I accidentally hit the gas right here. And then I realized it real quick, and I hit the off button.
He's safe.
So slide in for a landing, but nothing's hurt. And overall, I think that was a pretty good flight. No splatting for me. Remember, rule 1, don't go splat.